Hello and welcome back. Welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh and in this video we shall discuss the feature news for today, that is for 15th of February 2022. Today's feature news is on women and migration, a very important topic considering women constitute almost 50% of India's population and world's population, and they are subjected to more migration. In fact, these times it has been said that there has been a womenization of migration. What is the reason that migration has become more women-centric? What are the causes? What is the impact? What are the historical, cultural realms also associated with this? We will understand in totality what has been the impact inter-country, intra-country or international across the borders migration. We will understand each of them in totality. This is going to serve you in multiple ways. Paper 1, Understanding Society. Paper 2, Social Sector Initiatives and Government Schemes. And paper 3, Understanding the Economy of India and around the world. See, migration earlier was primarily spoken of in terms of people migrating for work causes, right? But that was the formal setup of employment. In fact, historically, many of the females, especially in India, they have migrated because of the family. Many of you have put that same thing in your answers, right? Now, we will understand the specific reasons for migration of women, only women specific, right? So let me show you what I have created here. Have a look at this image. So one cause is marriage. It is the woman who shifts more often towards the male's family than the male shifting to the female family or some parts associated. Both of them would not be moving, majorly the female shifting. This is one cause. The other cause is because of the distress. Most of the victims of forced migration, right, natural calamity or other kind of issues, forced migration, that is women and children. In fact, sexual exploitation, who are the ones who are the largest victims? It is the women and children. Women and other people also do migrate because of studies. There are other causes of migration. For example, family reunion, right? So twin sisters getting reunited at elder age. This is another cause of international migration, not national. And then there's another prevalent factor that is specifically for women. They get employed in the low performing jobs, household jobs, home care or MSMEs in urban areas, because these are the cheaper labor that many of the organizations get. This is very sad that the payments to women are not at par with the male counterparts. And especially for lowly paid jobs, there's a pull-based migration in the urban areas. This is not me speaking, this is the survey speaking, this is the census speaking, this is many of the other documented research, Indian and international speaking. We will deal with each of them, right? But before that, I must promise to share with you the specific cause of migration specifically for females. All right. Hi Ravi, Tiyasha, good evening. Hi Vivek, welcome back. So, in understanding the details of this particular article, let us understand what are the specific causes of migration specifically for females. See, before that, let us understand what is the population and migration. So, population of any place is determined through death, birth and migration. Migration is an important factor because in a country like India, 30% of the population is mobile. It is migrating from one place to another. 30% of population. Imagine that. And this migration is determined through what? Through the place of birth. Through census defines migration of a person from moving from their place of birth. I was born in Pathankot in Punjab, and if I move from that place to another place, I am migrated out. This is one. And migration is also calculated on another parameter on the place of last residence. These are two categories on which census chooses how people have migrated from one place to another. And 30% of population of India has migrated 2001 census, and also very similar stats would be there in the 2011 census. All right. So the place of origin and the place of destination, right? And the place of residence. So place of residence. See, migration means the person has moved from the place of origin to place of destination for residence, temporary or permanent. So it is only for residence. You move to another city just to spend a day and come back. This is not migration. But if you're there for a week, that is temporary migration, tourism purposes. If you're there for schooling, temporary migration, or college, temporary migration. Settle settle well there, that is permanent migration. All right. So three kinds of migration: domestic, international, and intercontinental. International is between two nations, but intercontinental is far, even Saat Samundar par type migration, right? India to Canada, India to Australia. International is Bangladesh to India. So quick stat: Bangladesh is the country from where maximum international migration comes to India. And in India, which are the states which are outward bound for migration, internal migration in India? Uttar Pradesh, maximum number of people going out, and Maharashtra, maximum number of people taking in. I will show this in the graphs also right now. But most migrations, this is interstate or international migration that I just spoke of, but most migration happens within the state itself, within the state. And these migration largely are related to marriage, especially the females, because the proportion is almost equal. So most of the migration is happening within the state. 85% of migration in India is happening within the state, and 70% around within the district itself. And many of the migration inside the cultural domains only. Why? Because when marriage happens, people look for marriages in the similar culture because it is easier to adopt to each other cultural practices. It is closer by. So many of the people migrating, 85%, are people migrating within the same state, also because of job opportunities in the urban areas, right? Now, migration can be of many kinds. I am explaining this to you so that we will understand what is the factor on which males migrate, what are the factors on which females migrate. All and forever will get completed for you. Forced or voluntary. These are the two kinds of migration: forced or voluntary. People are forced to migrate, that is push. They're pushed to another place because of certain factors. On the other hand, voluntary means pull based. They want to do something better, they want to go to some other place, be accessible at other places. That is the reason. That is voluntary. So now all the causes can be divided into social, political, economic, cultural, historical, environmental. Economic and environmental. If you segregate, it becomes far easier when you explain the points. Now, political causes of migration for people in general are because of disruptions in society, right? So political conflicts or forced displacement because of political conflicts, lynching, wars between two groups, right? This happened in many countries in Africa, right? So what is the social cause? One social cause of migration is marriages. Another social cause associated with economic cause of migration, now start listing, is that there are many places where people do not have enough to have their livelihood on, and because of the economic issues, parents get lured. Say when somebody comes up to them and say that we'll get your daughter married without dowry, they get lured. And this is a social and economic cause, because society leads. So social cause is poverty and economic cause is deprivation. And because of this associated factor, they say, all right, fine, if my child can get married in an urban area, let her go there and get married. So these are the middlemen which work it out. But this is one of the causes of migration, that so social distress or cultural issues, right? Along with that, there are many economic causes. What it leads to? It leads to eventual sexual exploitation or deceit, human trafficking of women. We will cover that part also. So this is one of the causes. Another cause is economic cause, right? Now with the boom, especially in the last decade or last decade, because of the economic expansion in the country, in India and abroad as well, magnify it. If I'm talking of India, look at the rural centers in India and the bigger cities in India. If you look at a state itself, look at the smaller districts which are rural oriented and people migrating to urban areas. If it is international, you can magnify the same thing, India towards USA or Canada, India towards Australia and UK, right? So look at that magnification by yourself. Point I'm making here is people migrate because of economic reasons also. Because of these times when there is expansion in economy, right? People are working in an urban setup and they want people to do home care, child care. Child care is a complete economy in itself. When people want them to get employed in MSMEs, this is specific to India, micro, small and medium enterprises. There are those kind of skill-based jobs, right? Unskilled, semi-skilled, or jobs which do not need any specialization. Women get employed here. In fact, there is a there is a demand for women specific employment. Why? Because they can work from home in these economies. They can participate in their home activities, and side by side they will keep, weaving some kind of clothes, be in a textile mill, or create agarbatti, any kind of industry which is micro, small and medium based. They will also be paid less for this work. In fact, these kind of employment, some of this home based employment is also treated as extension of the reproductive functions of women. Example, if woman has born, she did bear a child, it is treated as an extension to this fact that she is a woman, and therefore she will be, cooking food at home. Since she did bear that small child, so she must be working around the parents. These are extension of the reproduction capacity of a woman. This must not happen. This must be given an economic label as well. This is not happening, and extension of this is also leading to women participation in child care, in home care business. They are in fact encouraged as household help rather than males. So there's a demand in urban areas. There's an international demand also. In Canada, in Australia, in USA, people are demanding women from the similar background. So Indian nationals going there, shifting there, they would always have happiness in having Indian women working for them. And yes, human rights, everything at its place. So economic reason is another reason, right? So, and cultural factor, we spoke of those cultural factors. See, so some factors specific to women, as I mentioned, you just mentioned pull-based factors, push-based factors, marriage accepted, right? But what are the specific factors? Let's look at it. So, one specific factor for migration of women is the factor of society, marriages, shifting of women. This is specific to women. Look at the economic causes, dowry, cultural causes, right? Dowry, and you'll not have to pay dowry, they migrate, and this later leads to sexual harassment or trafficking of women, small children, right? Another specific cause, that was it, cultural cause. Then economic causes, the booming of MSME, childcare and services. This is another cause. Look at another cause of migration of specific to women, right? So that particular cause is the one that is political cause, political unrest. Males do handle. It has been seen all around. Most of 75% of the forced displacement that happens, right? Victims are women and small children. Imagine that. How to explain this, right? This is reality. 75% of the forced displaced population is these women and children. And almost all the population that is into business like human trafficking, it is females, right? So these are some of the causes. There are other causes also. Let me share some of that with you. The sex ratio in our country is skewed at places in some particular states, Punjab, Haryana. And if marriages are happening across cultures, just on the basis of the fact that yes, you can marry your daughter in our culture, it's fine. But in reality, since the cultures are very different, the adjustment of women is very tough. Also, these are the places where laborers migrate. So when a female in the family is there and she migrates, get married here on the pretext that the father won't have to pay dowry, she gets married and then she is also made to work in the family farms. See, as an agricultural laborer. This brings me to my next point of the social factor, where the male members own the property. When the male member own the village property, they are the ones who are called as farmers, and their wives who are farming that field. Why? Because the male members have gone to the urban areas to work. Female member will be farming, but she will not be called as farmer. Why? Because the property is not her name. She will be treated as an agricultural laborer. Look at this. So she won't be able to participate in the legal activities in her farmland. She won't even will be able to get agricultural loans. Look at this problem. This leads to further exclusion of women from the rural economy, and this later leads to the forced movement of women in urban areas. Women's specific problems, 6 or 7 of them I spoke, all of them specific to women, right? So there are some general factors, push or pull based, but these are specific pull or push based factors only for women. All right. Now, when we look at look at these words that I've written: push based factors, no job, disaster, political unrest, compelled or disguised unemployment, right? voluntary or social marriage, better opportunities, education services, resource availability. All right, we know all this, but specific to women, I just discussed. Now there are cases where these women are deceived. There is some false pretext under which they are taken to another area and they are put into human trafficking. Now this is an exclusive domain. This should not be treated as migration of women, because it was not done in the first place at their willingness. It was a deceit. However, if you treat cases like the one happening in Haryana and Punjab, they should not be treated as the ones of deceit, because there was a consent in the beginning, and later on the cultural differences were there, and there were issues because of which people gave consent to. So you should divide the causes of migration of women as social, political, historical or cultural, economic, all of them. This makes it easier for you to understand. And this is where I should explain to you once again the concept of immigration and emigration. Do you remember this? Immigration is when we go abroad, right? So when we go to a destination from source, and emigration is when somebody is coming within. Emigrant, for example, I want to go to UAE, I will immigrate to UAE, but I will emigrate to a place, or emigration is coming to our own place, right? Going, immigration, coming back is emigration, right? So both of these factors are the ones which determine the landscape, the political landscape, demographic landscape. For example, if Maharashtra goes through a problem like crisis, human crisis, of outsider and insider, one of the causes is the incoming population. Maharashtra state represents the maximum incoming population in the country of laborers. Now this causes impact here. Now look at this: social impact, political impact, economic impact, environmental impact, urban areas. So the traffic congestion, economic services unavailability, schooling, shortage of it, right? Increase in slums, right? So look at this social impact. There are economic impacts, environment further degrades, political impact, political unrest. So impact of migration could be negative, impact of migration could be positive as well. If it leads to a better quality of life, if it leads to the fulfillment of the aspirations of the person, better quality of life or availability of education, infrastructure, schooling, medicinal facilities, or in fact even getting back with the family together. This happens. Many of the causes of international migration has happened with senior ladies, right, elderly ladies who are getting reunited with the family abroad. So those are also good impacts of migration. See. So lately, this feature of feminization of migration has happened. Feminization of migration. This is the cause, and this must be understood well. So domestic work, household work, informal sector, there is a specific demand for females. Why? Because let me share with you, you people would have had your personal experiences also. It is generally accepted for some reason or the other that women will tolerate a little more. She will keep quiet. She will take it on. So let us give her lesser finances, even if she is working at home. All right, we will employ her with low skills. That is fine, because let us accept that she will do the work, whatever is given to her. So many of them are employed in MSMEs, textile, agarbatti industry, etc., where they can stay at home also or go to a nearby area, work and come back and look after the child. As I mentioned, extension of the reproductive functions of a female is in the stay-at-home economy. This has not been economized well. In fact, if she is participating in taking care of her own child, it should be economized, because it is an activity, economic activity. In developed world, in countries like USA, in European countries, in Canada, all of this is given an economic value, because everybody is working there. So these are the places where feminization of migration has happened, from developing to developed countries, from rural areas to urban areas, from smaller centers to bigger urban centers. All right. So this is one impact. Look at this: demographic impact, changes in the composition of society, leading to every kind of issue. For example, if the female has moved from rural area to an urban area to work, she will be working well. She will be, earning the bread for the family, could be sole bread earner also for the family. What happens to the children back at home? What happens to the elderly care at home? They will not be taken care of. And let me share this with you, that the finances earned, right? Many of the United Nations reports, India report also states that the finances earned are as much as half of what the males earn. Also, when the males send back their money to their home, they send it for investment purposes largely, but females send it for the family, daily survival, daily livelihood. Look at the difference. Not me speaking, United Nations. So they send back the money for elderly cares, care of their children, all of it, right? So this is what is an important thing for you to understand, and we will deal with the data also very quickly. All right. International perspective. In international relations, if you see, almost 50% of migration is that of women. In India, if there are 40 plus crore people migrating, 20 crore plus are only because of only the females. 30 crore are females, and 20 crore out of them are only because of marriages. We'll present that data in the Gazette itself. I'll show this to you. And 75% of those refugees post-migration, they are women and children. Look at this, right? Okay, so important things for you to pick up from here. Right? Low-skilled jobs, traditional jobs, house care, home care, they are treated as extension of reproductive functions of women. Now, this is analysis. When you look at ADEC, this is the analysis, right? This is not the key. This is a keyword, reproductive functions of women, but this is the analytical part of it. So note it down, very important. I don't know how many people will be able to look into these fine but yet such intricate and touching details. They touch your heart when you speak a thing like this, that domestic work is treated as the extension of reproductive functions of women, whereas a male worker going out of home and working, that will not be treated as extension of just being a male, right? That will be treated as an economic activity. Oh, kama raha hai, he's doing well. But women, it's fine, let her do this, right? So this is what is leading to further feminization of the migration. All right. So what does it impact? How does it impact? See, times when language is not known, when a Bihari girl wouldn't know how Punjabi is to be spoken, she wouldn't be able to express herself. When Indians go to Canada, they don't know the language, and even if they know the language, the articulation is still questioned, right? And articulation is questioned in the terms that the cultural difference is there, and people wouldn't open themselves to, for example, speaking about their health problems. Women wouldn't open themselves in front of the doctors. In fact, research has also found that the doctors also have a bias, saying that they're from a different culture, they wouldn't understand, and therefore let us not give them all the kind of opinions. So this is the bias, and this bias is also because of ethnicity. This is what do we do here? When it is happening, it is the reality. It must not happen, yeah. But then it can only happen when people are made more aware of all this, right? Both the sides, the people dealing from that culture and the people migrating from this culture. Many people, they go through physical and mental trauma because of migration, but they do not share, especially women. So this is one important impact of it. They feel that it's a regular part of life, but then actually they might be depressed. They might be going through an extensive mental condition, right? So this is where you should look at a very beautiful example. Another good keyword here, international care network. An international care network should be formed for transnational mothering. Now translated to national also, right? A national care network should be formed for the national mothering projects, right? This is what reminds me of the midwives also. We'll come to it. All right. So this is the data from the census 2001. Don't get bothered. We are 20 years ahead, but the data still remains similar, or it might be even further skewed. So let me share the quick understanding, right? So this is 30 crores written. This is 40 plus, around 43 crores of total migrants in India. That time it was 30 crores. Now it is 43 crores, around 43 crores out of 135 crores, right? So it again comes to around 30-35% of the population. If you can tell me the exact, everybody will come to know. Please tell me. 43 out of 135. Moving ahead, migrants within the state are again around 85%, and within that particular district is 70%. So many people migrating for jobs, many people migrating for after marriage. They are within the state or district, which is a very good thing in a way, because more the distance, more the complexities. All right. But then every state must have avenues for employment. See, up now employment and growth also gets linked. If Bihar does not have enough industries, it only has agricultural livelihood, where will people go? 10 crore population of Bihar, it has to, migrate outside the state. So with UP, so with West Bengal, right? Okay, so with northeast states. Now, moving ahead to another important parameter here is the reason for migration. Let's look at that. So reason for migration for work or employment, it is 37%, around 40% of males migrate because of work or employment. On the other hand, only 3% women migrate because of work and employment. So we'll look at only the skewed data, right? So many men migrating because of work, but females very few, right? For marriage, if you look at marriage parameters, 65% of females moving, around 2/3 of females moving just because of family, functions, marriages, moving to husband's place, right? And only 2% of male moving because of this, right? Education, more males moving and lesser females moving to other areas, right? So this is important to note. And for family, whole family shifting to another city, that is another category in which both males and females also shift. I picked this up from the Hindu, right? And this shows about the data of people who have migrated, inbound migration. So this is immigration, inbound, right? Maharashtra, maximum migration. This is 30 lakh people. Also Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat and Haryana. These are the places with maximum incoming migration. Haryana, such a small state, also has incoming population. It is not just females getting married. This is also agricultural laborers. Gujarat, an industrial state, right? Maharashtra, highly industrial state. Delhi, availability of opportunities, right? On the other hand, which are the states which are the places of exodus? Mass exodus happens from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka. All right. So when you look at the top 4 states, why aspiring states, Bimaru states, B, not to be spelled now because this word is bygone but was spoken by the government itself. BMROU, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh will also include Uttarakhand. Madhya Pradesh will also include Chhattisgarh, Bihar also, Jharkhand. Erstwhile, 20 years back, this is how they would say. And then they said Bimaru is not a good word to call the states. This is a negative connotation. Let us call them states which have aspiring districts, right? So every state has to have aspiring districts, but majorly these are the states which are in problem. See, and because of this, human resources, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, all of them, maximum number of people migrating. Look at the causes, see, and look at the impact here, right? This also leads to parents getting left alone. This also leads to further segregation of a family altogether. Around 4% of the families, they stay apart. Husband and wife stay apart just because of these kind of issues, migration, right? So issues in the actual population from where people have migrated, and also issues at the places where people have migrated to, both the places. So these states also will go through issue, and the states from where people have migrated, both of them will go through issue. Look at both the perspectives, positive and negative. I appreciate one of you who had pointed out this impact, right? So look at this urban and rural migration dimension. Rural to rural migration, most of it is that of females. This is for females. Most of it is for females. See, and rural to urban migration, when they migrate, the females have also started to migrate now. Not only that, they are moving alongside with their family, with their husband and family together, but also because of, as I mentioned, the feminization of migration. Females migration is being required. There is a high demand of low paid, low skilled work. Urban to rural migration is also happening. Females again returning back. Look at this. Urban to urban migration is also happening. Maybe marriages, right? Education, health, etc. When you look at interstate migration parameters, so net in migration or net out migration. Look at Bihar, net out migration. Look at Uttar Pradesh, net out migration. Look at in migration in Maharashtra. Look at in migration in Delhi, Gujarat. What a beautiful image, right? So this one is a part of the document from PRS. All right. So this very clearly shows that most of the females who are migrating, they're migrating to any other place because of their marriage, right? And whereas males, only 4% migrating because of marriage. Census 2011. On the other hand, when you see 21% of the workforce of males is migrating because of work, On the other hand, only 2% of females because of work, right? When you see moving with family, males more and less females, and when you see other factors, they're also there. All right, this is intrastate migration within the state. Similar for interstate, the parameters are very similar, but when you see the stark difference between these two parameters, a lot of males migrating because of work, a lot of females migrating even interstate because of the marriage. See, so various factors assisting this. All right, a lot of data shown to you, and now you've understood a lot of things right here, right? Let me look at your questions here. Hi Neha, good evening. All right, so Vivek says Rohingya migrating from Myanmar. All right, great. All right, Vivek says, sir, whether emigration is exit from a place? No, immigration is exit from a place and emigration is incoming population. All right, so Rohingyas emigrating to India, and people from south going to, or Hyderabad going to USA, and again emigrating from here, right? Immigration, incoming. Vivek, all right. Ravi says Cricket Australia promoting equal pay for men and women cricketers. Yes, ICC mandate calling better batter for batsmen. Yes, absolutely. These are examples for you, Ravi. Not only for you, for everybody. See, this is the reason that chairman shifted to chairperson. This is the reason that batsman changed to batter. And why not give equal pay? Why not endorse, when endorsement happen, why not give the women athletes also equal endorsement? Abhi right now IPL auctions happened and people getting sold for a game, for the whole series for 14, 15, 12 crores. And women, look at that difference. There is a difference. How do you justify this? If you are asked to justify, how do you justify? See, although it might go against human rights, but still if I have to justify, I will give grounds on this. This is what you also should learn to juggle between both the parameters. The justification will be very simple on the basis of Uniform Civil Code itself. Don't get upset with me. The point is similar treatment in similar conditions. All women should be treated equal, but women and male are different. They should be treated differently. I am not arguing this. This is the arguments that lawyers usually present in a courtroom. All right, they are not justified, but then they are argument and they do have some logic behind it. That's what I am saying. Not getting emotional, but presenting both sides. All right, I'm not saying women should get unequal pay, right? I'm not saying that. This is just an example. So yes, Supriya and Vivek, absolutely correct. Thank you. 31.85%. This is what they say. 30 to 35% migration happening in India, right? So almost 30% people, all of us are migrants because we are not living at the place where we were born. Ravi says, highlighting ethnicity point, there are doctors who perform two-finger test on women despite being banned by government, lack of awareness. Yes, that two-finger test is a different aspect altogether. Yes, all right. That has been banned throughout the whole country. Ashish says, at Ravi. Okay. See, Ashish has another logic that since female cricketers do not get as much business, they are paid less. So TV rights, all the endorsing rights, they get reduced. Ads, they get reduced. Ashish says, Bimaru states are now known as low performing states. All right, thank you, Ashish. Ravi says ethical. All right. So yes. So this is a quick recap of all what we had done. Thank you for comments. See, it says 67% of the migrants are women. Of the 45 crore migrants in our country, 31 crore are female, and that means around 67% are females. And half of this, almost half of the total migrants, they are only the people who are getting migrated because of marriage. 21 out of 31 crore is only because of marriage, social customs, right? But then you should not discount the other reasons because of which women are getting migrating. So as I mentioned, other reasons are feminization of the workforce or migration. Good example of that is the MSME culture, right? The home-based work activities, household activities, right? Exploitation. There are political causes, political unrest that you mentioned. All right. So this is what we have mentioned here. Around 70% women migrate because of marriage, but around 80% of migrated eligible female graduates choose not to participate in organized workforce. When these people go to the urban areas, they do not participate in organized activities. They participate in unorganized activities. Unorganized, not organized. This further leads to their exploitation, right? So difference in wages, salaries, there are pull-based factors, push-based factors that I explained right here, explained again. All right. So around, this is for the total population moving, 50% population moving because of marriage. Most of them are females. Moving with household, and then these are the other causes. Now, I have given you a even more, detailed analysis than what is presented here. So great. Problems. Problems are, they become more vulnerable. Women become more vulnerable after such kind of migration. Vulnerable in rural areas in case their counterparts migrate and they have to stay back. So they are treated as agricultural laborers. And when they migrate to urban areas, this is because of distress, because things didn't work out at agricultural lands. They migrate also because of other factors like demand of urban based employment, but then as they reach urban areas, they see more exploitation in those places. So more vulnerability. If it is cross cultural, you understand it better than anybody what happens in that case, right? Marriages due to migration, marriage, right? Cross cultural marriage, another issue, right? Financial woes, they are not identified as workers. Why? Because they are not a part of the formal workforce, as simple as that. And this is the reason because of which they cannot even seek remedies. All right. Pandemic distress. Now, pandemic has caused problems to a lot of migrants, and women are a part of that workforce. They have also gone back to their rural areas, participating in agriculture again. So pandemic is something which has resulted in migration and distress for all the workforce, not only women or men, but all the workforce. But yes, if you look at the disposable income that is there with female or a man, right? See, I'm not talking of people specific here, but general, women will always spend these finances for house care, right? For sanitary work, for keeping the house clean, for ensuring that medicines are available in the family or food is available. But males might not do that all the time, right? There are instances because of which the government ensured that the female only gets the government's direct benefit transfer. Males, if they get it in their bank account, they might go and spend this in alcohol, or they might play jua. What is jua? Jua is gamble with that money. So this is why women, and this is the difference between women is considered as the center of family. Man is the one who grooms the family, but woman is considered as the center of the family. She binds the family together. So she has been in more distress during pandemic times because of less availability of money. She has to run the whole house. And when it happens to a migrant laborer, migrant woman, it is furthermore. Health issues, as I mentioned, economic, health impacts, mental, physical, they wouldn't even speak about it. Right? Sexual harassment at workplaces, as I mentioned, this is not only at workplaces, but sexual harassment in general, right? And the harassment is a smaller word to use. It is complete encroachment of women's space and children's space, right? All right. So this is where they are left behind. Women, over 4.5 women in rural areas and 5.5 in urban areas have husbands living elsewhere. Look at this. It is only because of migration. Women are treated as agricultural laborers. They don't have the family property on their name. What can be done? Right? So since this is a heterogeneous group, working on this group is very tough. Heterogeneous group, a lot of people, but different kind of people, right? So workplaces, sexual harassment should be looked at. All right, right? Then there should be, as I mentioned, inter-country caregivers network, right? This is a good example of it, or a case it could become, right? Individual and community level intervention. See, why individual level interventions become important is because not everything can be codified. Only parents can be made to understand that marrying just because somebody is not saying they'll not have to give or demand for dowry, this is not the cause. Look into the family background, look at where she is going. So this is how you should send your child. So family based counseling also, right? Ensuring adequate representation of women in various schemes, right? So that they don't have to migrate at all. MNREGS, remember we had said 1/3 representation demanded. Yes. So those are the kind of suggestions which can be given. Improving awareness of social protection schemes, right? Now there is no specific provision for women related when they get migrated to an international destination, but then they should always, or they can always approach the Indian embassies or consulates based in those particular cities or nearby places, and they will be given due care. All right. So female empowerment, development, education, all must be taken care of along with dealing with a problem like this. All right. So huge article, but covering various aspects of society, economy, and India's culture. All right. This point of migration of females, impacts of it can be presented in innumerable places. So try looking into how you should memorize all these impacts or the issues, the data dealing with it. So let's understand, what did we cover? We understood what is the meaning of migration, movement from one place to another for residents, temporary or permanent. We understood specific causes, pull-based factors, push-based factors. Also, the factor that is responsible for sexual harassment, right? Sexual harassment and human trafficking. Yes, sexual harassment and more than that, human trafficking. We understood that. We also understood specific reasons, 6 or 7 specific reasons specific to female migration. Now you should look at what you have written down in the comment section in the last video, and you should also look at what points that I have, provided here. There is a stark level of difference, and this is what is the difference between specificity, knowing a thing, and then also talking in general regards. I am not questioning. All I'm saying is that these are the highly specific points, and this will form the difference. This will form the difference in you getting those awwal number, exceedingly beautiful marks. I'm not saying that will not get you selected. They will get you selected, but this will ensure that you get it. You just get it in the first go, right? So specific issues, data, we dealt with all the data inside the country, outside the country, right? Which are the states, which are not those states, and we also understood the impact of migration on women population and population in general. We also understood the way forward, right? So covered in totality. Discuss the various reasons for female migration in India and how it leads to various vulnerabilities in female migrants. Various reasons for female migration. We have understood female migration, 6-7 reasons. Specific reasons, that was a part of the video. This article will have it, but then yes, this is it. And then how it leads to various vulnerabilities in female migrants. So impact of it in the female population, right? So vulnerabilities are not the positive impacts. All right, let me look at some questions if you have. Vivek says, true sir, in my village only men play jua. See, Vivek, you might think that it's me who is speaking about it, but then in reality, this is what the government also says, pass on the finances to the working female or the person who is the eldest female in the family, right? So you have questions, put them down in the comment section. Like this initiative if you like this effort enough. And we will see you again tomorrow evening for current affairs, and after that the feature news discussion. Important for you to note down is the ADEC. It's hot in your mind, so do not go somewhere else. Look at this, or if you have done it alongside the video, it's great. Look at the keywords, look at the cases or examples that are presented or data, and some analytical pointers. Analytical pointers in a feature news, especially feature news like this, will be high because it has got specificity, right? That is the reason. So with this, all the best. I will see you tomorrow evening. Put down the questions. Thank you, Kanupriya. Kanupriya, you have to be writing the quick notes as well, right? Netra, Ashish, Hima, Babani, I hope you're doing this note work. Yeah, like this initiative. All right. I hope that you people are studying this. Hi. All right, Tiyasha, thank you. Welcome. Just that I need an assurance from you all that you people are making those notes, because these are very valuable. Where listening, you will forget it after a week. But you must memorize them. That is the most important part. Vakram says, "Aaj to GS 1 to 3 cover ho gaya." Those we have been covering things like this for the past as well, but now yes, we have started to recognize that it is covering many aspects. So Vakram, great that you have taken note to this. In fact, GS 4 bhi cover ho gaya. If you are a part of public administration, you will understand the impacts of this. If you are a part of geography or society, if these are your optional subjects, getting covered, right? So Pooja says, I am not able to make notes. Pooja, you must seek support. No, all the other people are doing. See, they are saying yes. That means they are doing this. Hima, Netra, Ashish, Amlan, all of them doing it. And other people also saying yes, doing it. It means, and it shows that in their writing as well. So Pooja, seek support in the next chat. Ask people how they are making notes. I will also share my inputs. Let's grow each other. Let's grow with each other. ADEC is 0.01. All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thank you for participation. You guys are great and keep it up. All right, Tiasha. Great, great. I will see you all. Good night. Questions, please post them down.